Robert Anton Wilson was an American author, novelist, psychologist, essayist, editor, playwright, poet, futurist, civil libertarian and self-described agnostic mystic. Recognized as an episcopo, pope, and saint of Discordianism, Wilson helped publicize the group through his writings and interviews. Wilson described his work as an attempt to break down conditioned associations, to look at the world in a new way, with many models recognized as models or maps, and no one model elevated to the truth. His goal being to try to get people into a state of generalized agnosticism, not agnosticism about God alone but agnosticism about everything. Early life. Is a euro the idiocy of the word haunts me. If it were abolished, human thought might begin to make sense. I don't know what anything is. I only know how it seems to me at this moment. A euro Robert Anton Wilson, the historical Illuminatus, as spoken by Sigismund Celine. Wilson, born Robert Edward Wilson in Methodist Hospital, in Brooklyn, New York, spent his first years in Flatbush, and moved with his family to Juritzen Beach around the age of 4 or 5, where they stayed until he turned 13. He suffered from polio as a child, and found generally effective treatment with the Kenny method which the American Medical Association repudiated at that time. Polio's effects remained with Wilson throughout his life, usually manifesting as minor muscle spasms causing him to use a cane occasionally until 2000, when he experienced a major bout with post-polio syndrome that would continue until his death. Wilson attended Catholic grammar school, likely the school associated with Juritzen Beach's Resurrection Church. He attended Brooklyn Technical High School to remove himself from the Catholic influence. While working as an ambulance driver, Wilson attended New York University, studying engineering and mathematics. He lectured at the Free University of New York on anarchist and synergetic politics when it was founded in 1965. He worked as an engineering aide, a salesman, a copywriter, and as associate editor of Playboy magazine from 1965 to 1971. Wilson adopted his maternal grandfather's name, Anton, for his writings, at first telling himself that he would save the Edward for when he wrote the great American novel and later finding that Robert Anton Wilson had become an established identity. In 1979 he received a Ph.D. in psychology from Paladar University in California, an unaccredited although California-approved institution that has since closed. Wilson reworked his dissertation, and it found publication in 1983 as Prometheus Rising. Wilson married freelance writer and poet Arlen Riley in 1958. They had 4 children, including Christiana Wilson Pearson and Patricia Luna Wilson. Luna was beaten to death in an apparent robbery in the store where she worked in 1976 at the age of 15, and became the first person to have her brain preserved by the Bay Area Cryonics Society. Arlen Riley Wilson died in 1999 following a series of strokes. The Illuminatus Trilogy. Among Wilson's 35 books, and many other works, perhaps his best-known volumes remain the cult classic series The Illuminatus Trilogy, co-authored with Robert Scheer. Advertised as a fairy tale for paranoids, the 3 books are The Eye in the Pyramid, The Golden Apple, and Leviathan, soon offered as a single volume philosophically and humorously examined, among many other themes, occult and magical symbolism and history, the counterculture of the 1960s, secret societies, data concerning author H.P. Lovecraft and author and occultist Aleister Crowley, and American paranoia about conspiracies and conspiracy theories. The book was intended to poke fun at the conspiratorial frame of mind. Wilson and Scheer derived much of the odder material from letters sent to Playboy magazine while they worked as the editors of the Playboy Forum. The books mix true information with imaginative fiction to engage the reader in what Wilson called guerrilla ontology, which he apparently referred to as Operation Mindfuck and Illuminatus. The trilogy also outlined a set of libertarian and anarchist axioms known as Celine's laws, concepts Wilson revisited several times in other writings. Among the many subplots of Illuminatus, one addresses biological warfare and the overriding of the United States Bill of Rights, another gives a detailed account of the John F. Kennedy assassination, in which no fewer than 5 snipers, all working for different causes, prepared to shoot Kennedy in Dallas, Texas, and the book's climax occurs at a rock concert where the audience collectively face the danger of becoming a mass human sacrifice. Illuminatus popularized Discordianism and the use of the term FNORD. It incorporates experimental prose styles influenced by writers such as William S. Burroughs, James Joyce, and Ezra Pound. Although Scheer and Wilson never partnered on such a scale again, Wilson continued to expand upon the themes of the Illuminatus books throughout his writing career. Most of his later fiction contains crossover characters from the Sex Magicians and the Illuminatus trilogy. Illuminatus won the Prometheus Hall of Fame Award for Science Fiction in 1986, has many international editions, and found adaptation for the stage when Ken Campbell produced it as a 10-hour epic drama. It also appeared as a Steve Jackson role-playing card game called Illuminati and a trading card game called Illuminati, New World Order. Apple Productions and Rip-Off Press produced a comic book version of the trilogy. On the Illuminati, Richard Metzger interviewed Robert Anton Wilson near the end of his life, and asked him about the Illuminati. His answer was, "Richard Metzger, you have studied the Illuminati for years. Have you come to any conclusion about their aims?" Robert Anton Wilson, usually when people ask me that question, I give them some kind of a put-on, but I can't think of a good and original put-on that I haven't done several times before. So I'll tell you the truth, for once. After investigating the Illuminati and their critics for the last 30 years, I think the Illuminati was a short-lived society of freethinkers and democratic reformers that formed a secret society within Freemasonry, using Freemasonry as a cover so they could plot to overthrow all the kings in Europe and the Pope. I'm very happy that they succeeded in overthrowing all the kings. I just wish that they had completed the job and gotten rid of the royal family in England too, but they did pretty well on the continent. I'm sorry they haven't finished off the Pope yet either, but I think they're still working on the project and I wish them luck. Disinformation, The Interviews. By Richard Metzger. Paragraph Dingmar's Cat Trilogy, The Historical Illuminatus Chronicles, and Masks of the Illuminati. Wilson wrote 2 more popular fiction series. The first, a trilogy later published as a single volume, was Paragraph Dingmar's Cat. The second, The Historical Illuminatus Chronicles, appeared as 3 books. In between publishing the 2 trilogies, Wilson released a stand-alone novel, Masks of the Illuminati, which fits into, due to the main character's ancestry, the Historical Illuminatus Chronicles timeline and, while published earlier, could qualify for the 4th volume in that series. Paragraph Dingmar's Cat consists of 3 volumes, The Universe Next Door, The Trick Top Hat, and The Homing Pigeons. Wilson set the 3 books in differing alternative universes, and most of the characters remain almost the same but may have slightly different names and different careers and background stories. The books cover the fields of quantum mechanics and the varied philosophies and explanations that exist within the science. The single volume describes itself as a magical textbook and a type of initiation. The single volume edition omits many entire pages and has many other omissions when compared with the original separate books. The Historical Illuminatus Chronicles, composed of The Earth Will Shake, The Widow's Son, and Nature's God, follows the timelines of several characters through different generations, time periods, and countries. The books cover, among many other topics, the history, legacy, and rituals of the Illuminati and related groups. Masks of the Illuminati, featuring historical characters in a fictionalized setting, contains a great deal of occult data. Intermixing Albert Einstein, James Joyce, Aleister Crowley, Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, and others, the book focuses on Pan and other occult icons, ideas, and practices. The book includes homages, parodies and pastiches from both the lives and works of Aleister Crowley and James Joyce. Plays and screenplays. A play by Wilson, Wilhelm Reich in Hell included many factual and fictional characters, including Marilyn Monroe, Uncle Sam, and Wilhelm Reich himself. Wilson also wrote and published as books 2 screenplays, Not yet produced, Reality is What You Can Get Away With, an illustrated screenplay, and The Walls Came Tumbling Down. Wilson's book Cosmic Trigger I, The Final Secret of the Illuminati had been adapted as a theatrical stage play by Daisy Eris Campbell, daughter of Ken Campbell, the British theatre maverick who staged Illuminatus at the Royal National Theatre in 1977. The new play is scheduled to open on November 23, 2014 in Liverpool before transferring to London and Brighton. Some of the costs are to be met through crowdfunding. Wilson's book is itself dedicated to Ken Campbell and the Science Fiction Theatre of Liverpool, England. The Cosmic Trigger series and other books, in the non-fiction and partly autobiographical Cosmic Trigger I, The Final Secret of the Illuminati and its two sequels, as well as in many other works, Wilson examined Freemasons, Discordianism, Sufism, the Illuminati, futurology, Zen Buddhism, Dennis and Terence McKenna, Jack Parsons, the occult practices of Aleister Crowley and G. I. Gurdjieff, yoga, and many other esoteric or counterculture philosophies, personalities, and occurrences. Wilson advocated Timothy Leary's eight-circuit model of consciousness and neurosomatic linguistic engineering, which he wrote about in many books including Prometheus Rising and again in 1990 with Quantum Psychology. With Leary, he helped promote the futurist ideas of space migration, intelligence increase, and life extension, which they combined to form the word symbol SME²LE. Wilson's 1986 book, The New Inquisition, argues that whatever reality consists of it actually would seem much weirder than we commonly imagine. It cites, among other sources, Bell's theorem and Alan Aspect's experimental proof of Bell's to suggest that mainstream science has a strong materialist bias, and that in fact modern physics may have already disproved materialist metaphysics. Wilson also supported the work and utopian theories of Buckminster Fuller and examined the theories of Charles Fort. He and Loren Coleman became friends, as he did with media theorist Marshall McLuhan and neuro-linguistic programming co-founder Richard Bandler, with whom he taught workshops. He also admired James Joyce, and wrote extensive commentaries on the author and on two of Joyce's novels, Finnegan's Wake and Ulysses, in his 1988 book Coincidence, A Head Test. Although Wilson often lampooned and criticized some New Age beliefs, bookstores specializing in New Age material often sell his books. Wilson, a well-known author in occult and neo-pagan circles, used Aleister Crowley as a main character in his 1981 novel Masks of the Illuminati, included some elements of H.P. Lovecraft's work in his novels, and at times claimed to have perceived encounters with magical entities. He warned against beginners using occult practice, since to rush into such practices and the resulting energies they unleash could lead people to go totally nuts. Wilson also criticized scientific types with overly rigid belief systems, equating them with religious fundamentalists and their fanaticism. In a 1988 interview, when asked about his newly published book The New Inquisition, Irrational Rationalism and the Citadel of Science, Wilson commented, "I coined the term irrational rationalism because those people claim to be rationalists, but they're governed by such a heavy body of taboos. They're so fearful, and so hostile, and so narrow, and frightened, and uptight and dogmatic. I wrote this book because I got tired satirizing fundamentalist Christianity. I decided to satirize fundamentalist materialism for a change, because the two are equally comical. The materialist fundamentalists are funnier than the Christian fundamentalists, because they think they're rational. They're never skeptical about anything except the things they have a prejudice against. None of them ever says anything skeptical about the AMA, or about anything in establishment science or any entrenched dogma. They're only skeptical about new ideas that frighten them. They're actually dogmatically committed to what they were taught when they were in college." Probability reliance. In a 2003 interview with High Times magazine, Wilson described himself as model agnostic, which he said consists of never regarding any model or map of the universe with total 100% belief or total 100% denial. Following Kortsubsky, I put things in probabilities, not absolutes. My only originality lies in applying this aesthetic attitude outside the hardest of the hard sciences, physics, to softer sciences and then to non-sciences like politics, ideology, jury verdicts and, of course, conspiracy theory. Wilson claimed in Cosmic Trigger, Volume 1 not to believe anything, since belief is the death of intelligence. He described this approach as maybe logic. Wilson wrote about this and other topics in articles for the cyberpunk magazine Mondo 2000. Economic thought. Robert Anton Wilson favored a form of basic income guarantee, synthesizing several ideas under the acronym RICH. His ideas are set forth in the essay The Rich Economy found in the Illuminati Papers. In an article critical of capitalism, Anton Wilson self-identifies as a libertarian socialist, when he said that I ask only one thing of skeptics, don't your unregistered trademark T bring up Soviet Russia, please. That horrible example of state capitalism has nothing to do with what I, and other libertarian socialists, would offer as an alternative to the present system. Other activities. Robert Anton Wilson and his wife Arlen Riley Wilson founded the Institute for the Study of the Human Future in 1975. From 1982 until his death, Wilson had a business relationship with the Association for Consciousness Exploration, which hosted his first on-stage dialogue with his longtime friend Timothy Leary entitled The Inner Frontier. Wilson dedicated his book The New Inquisition to ACE's co-directors, Jeff Rosenbaum and Joseph Rothenberg. Wilson also joined the Church of the Subgenius, who referred to him as Pope Bob. He contributed to their literature, including the book Three-Fisted Tales of Bob, and shared a stage with their founder, Reverend Ivan Stang, on several occasions. Wilson also founded the Guns and Dope Party and its corresponding Burning Man theme camp. As a member of the Board of Advisors of the Fully Informed Jury Association, Wilson worked to inform the public about jury nullification, the right of jurors to nullify a law they deem unjust. He supported and wrote about E-prime, a form of English lacking all be verbs. A decades-long researcher into drugs and a strong opponent of what he called the war on some drugs, Wilson participated as a special guest in the week-long 1999 annual Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam, and used and often promoted the use of medical marijuana. He participated in a protest organized by the Men's Alliance for Medical Marijuana in Santa Cruz in 2002. Death. On June 22, 2006, Huffington Post blogger Paul Krasner reported that Robert Anton Wilson was under hospice care at home with friends and family. On October 2, Douglas Rushkoff reported that Wilson was in severe financial trouble. Boing Boing, and the Church of the Subgenius also picked up on the story, linking to Rushkoff's appeal. As his webpage reported on October 10, these efforts succeeded beyond expectation and raised a sum which would have supported him for at least 6 months. Obviously touched by the great outpouring of support, on October 5, 2006, Wilson left the following comment on his personal website, expressing his gratitude. Dear friends, my God, what can I say? I am dumbfounded, flabbergasted, and totally stunned by the charity and compassion that has poured in here the last 3 days. To steal from Jack Benny, I do not deserve this, but I also have severe leg problems and I don't deserve them either. Because he was a kind man as well as a funny one, Benny was beloved. I find it hard to believe that I'm equally beloved and especially that I deserve such love. Whoever you are, wherever you are, know that my love is with you. You have all reminded me that despite George W. Bush and all his cohorts, there is still a lot of beautiful kindness in the world. Blessings, Robert Anton Wilson. On January 6, 2007, Wilson wrote on his blog that according to several medical authorities, he would likely only have between 2 days and 2 months left to live. He closed this message with I look forward to without dogmatic optimism but without dread. I love you all and I deeply implore you to keep the lasagna flying. Please pardon my levity, I don't see how to take death seriously. It seems absurd. He died peacefully 5 days later, on January 11 at 4:50 a.m. Pacific Time. After his cremation on January 18, and his family held memorial service on February 18, his family scattered most of his ashes at the same spot as his wife's off the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk in Santa Cruz, California. a tribute show to Wilson, organised by Coldcut and Mixmaster Morris and performed in London as a part of the Ether 07 festival held at the Queen Elizabeth Hall on March 18, 2007, also included Ken Campbell, Bill Drummond and Alan Moore. Works, bibliography, fiction, The Sex Magicians, The Illuminatus Trilogy, The Eye in the Pyramid, The Golden Apple, Leviathan. Schra Paragraph Dingmer's Cat Trilogy, The Universe Next Door, The Trick Top Hat, The Homing Pigeons. Masks of the Illuminati, The Historical Illuminatus Chronicles, The Earth Will Shake, The Widow's Son, Nature's God. Autobiographical and Philosophical Trilogy, Cosmic Trigger Trilogy, Cosmic Trigger I, The Final Secret of the Illuminati, Cosmic Trigger II, Down to Earth, Cosmic Trigger III, My Life After Death. Plays and Screenplays, Wilhelm Reich in Hell, Reality is What You Can Get Away With, The Walls Came Tumbling Down, Non-Fiction, Playboy's Book of Forbidden Words, Sex and Drugs, A Journey Beyond Limits, The Book of the Breast, revised as Ishtar Rising. Neuropolitics, revised as Neuropolitique. The Game of Life, Prometheus Rising, The New Inquisition, Natural Law, or Don't Put a Rubber on Your Willy, Sex, Drugs and Magic, A Journey Beyond Limits revision, with new introduction, of Sex and Drugs, A Journey Beyond Limits, Quantum Psychology, Everything is Under Control, Conspiracies, Cults and Cover-Ups, TSOG, The Thing That Ate the Constitution, Essay Collections, The Illuminati Papers Collection of Essays and New Material, Right Where You Are Sitting Now Collection of Essays and New Material, Coincidence, A Head Test Essays and New Material, Email to the Universe and Other Alterations of Consciousness Collection of Essays and New Material, Editor, Semiotext, E.S.F., Chaos and Beyond, Discography, A Meeting with Robert Anton Wilson Cassette, Religion for the Hell of It Cassette, HOMES on Lagrange Cassette, The New Inquisition Cassette, The HEAD Revolution Cassette and CD, Prometheus Rising Cassette, The Inner Frontier Cassette, The Magical Movement, Present and Future Panel Discussion A Euro Cassette, Magic Changing the World Changing Magic Panel Discussion A Euro Cassette, The Self in Transformation Panel Discussion A Euro Cassette, The Once and Future Legend Panel Discussion A Euro Cassette, What is the Conspiracy, Anyway? Panel Discussion A Euro Cassette, The Chocolate Biscuit Conspiracy Album with the Golden Horde, 12 Eggs in a Basket CD, Robert Anton Wilson on Finnegan's Wake and Joseph Campbell 2 CD set Sound Photosynthesis, Acceleration of Knowledge Cassette, Secrets of Power Comedy Cassette, Robert Anton Wilson Explains Everything, or Old Bob Exposes His Ignorance Sounds True ISBN 1-59179-375-0, ISBN 978-59179-375-5. Filmography, Actor, Ta Nuri's Da. Realidade, Os Edgar Parra, Manuel de Eveza Pound OLX 94 Edgar Parra, Portugal, Writer, Wilhelm Reich and Hell Deep Leaf Productions, himself, Children of the Revolution, Tune Back and Revolutionary Child Productions, The Gospel According to Philip K. Dick TKO Productions, 23 Cossin and WA Paragraph BKE Film Production GmbH, Arise. The Subgenius Video The Subgenius Foundation, Borders Co-Directions Incorporated. Fear in the Night, Demons, Incest and UFOs Video A Euro Trajectories, 12 Eggs in a Box, Myth, Ritual and the Jury System Video A Euro Trajectories, Everything is Under Control, Robert Anton Wilson An Interview Video A Euro Trajectories, Documentary, Maybe Logic, The Lives and Ideas of Robert Anton Wilson, a documentary featuring selections from over 25 years of Wilson footage, released on DVD in North America on May 30, 2006. See also. References. External links, official website, now maintained by his family, Raw Data 2.0, Wilson's blog, now maintained by his daughter, Christina, Raw Data, Wilson's first blog, Guns and Dope Party, political party created by Wilson and Olga Struthio, Maybe Logic The Lives and Ideas of Robert Anton Wilson, Right Where You Are Sitting Now podcast extensive 2-hour Robert Anton Wilson tribute podcast, featuring audio clips, and interviews with friends of Wilson, a collection of raw audio video from his publisher A collection of raw audio video from his publisher, Robert Anton Wilson at the Internet Movie Database, Regenbach, Jeff. Robert Anton Wilson. Mrs. Dahlia, Robert Anton Wilson fans, Robert Anton Wilson at the Internet Speculative Fiction Database, Robert Anton Wilson at Find a Grave, Cosmic Trigger Play website.